Hello friends, welcome to BYJU'S Exam Prep. In this session, I shall be discussing with you do or die legal aptitude topics for Maharashtra CET Law 2023. So what are those topics that a student who is preparing for Maharashtra CET 2023 insofar as legal aptitude or your legal reasoning section is concerned must and should do? But before that, BYJU'S Exam Prep brings to you a free workshop on how to maximize CLAT preparation during holidays. This particular free workshop is scheduled on 26th of Feb at 7 p.m. So hurry up and register now for the free workshop on how to maximize CLAT preparation during holidays. So guys, your legal aptitude section consists of the four important subjects of law. They are Constitution of India, Law of Torts, Law of Contracts, and Law of Crimes. So Constitution of India, Law of Torts, Law of Contracts, and Law of Crimes happens to be the four most important topics on which questions are asked insofar as legal aptitude or legal reasoning section of Maharashtra CET is concerned. Now, insofar as the Constitution of India is concerned, what are those things that you must do? You must have a fair idea about the Indian Constituent Assembly, its features, and its committees. Now, the main sources of the Indian Constitution also plays a very important role. What are the most important sources of the Indian Constitution? What have we got from the American Constitution? What have we got from the Irish Constitution? What have we got from the Russian Constitution or from the German Constitution or from the South African Constitution? So the main sources of the Indian Constitution is another very important topic. Thereafter comes fundamental rights. What are those fundamental rights? The six important fundamental rights guaranteed to each and every citizen of the country under the Indian Constitution. Part 3 of our Indian Constitution deals with fundamental rights. So a student must have a good idea about fundamental rights and the 5 different types of writs that are available to a citizen in case his fundamental rights are violated. Thereafter comes the directive principles of state policy. Now, directive principles, there are many directive principles of state policy. I want each and every one of you to have a fair idea of the various directive policies mentioned under the Indian Constitution. Thereafter comes the 11 fundamental duties. Now, what are those 11 fundamental duties? Very important. Thereafter comes your union executive, legislature, and the union judiciary. The function of the executive, the function of the legislature, and the function of the union judiciary. The role of the Supreme Court, powers of the Supreme Court, role of the High Court, powers of the High Court. How are judges appointed in the High Court? That's about the union judiciary. Union legislature, the role of the parliament. How is a law made? How is a law introduced? Okay, how is it passed? What majority is required for passing a particular bill from one house to the other? Then again, the union executive, the role of the president, vice president, and the council of ministers. Thereafter, of course, important constitutional amendment. It's again very, very important, especially the 42nd constitutional amendment, 44th constitutional amendment, and thereafter the EWS judgment. Okay, that's another very important judgment that has come up. So apart from that, you must also be aware of the emergency provision under the Indian Constitution. The three types of emergency: national emergency, then you have the president's rule, and the third type is called financial emergency. So this is a broad idea of the Constitution. These are the important topics under the Constitution. Now, under law of torts, one must be aware of what is damnum sine injuria, damage without injury, and injuria sine damnum, that is injury without damage. Then general defenses under law of torts: voluntary non-fit injuria, act of God, private defense, mistake, necessity, statutory authority, plaintiff the wrongdoer, and all. So understanding the various general defenses, because a lot of questions do come from general defenses itself. Then the various types of liabilities under law of tort. You have vicarious liability, strict liability, and absolute liability. The difference between strict liability and absolute liability is again very, very important. Thereafter comes the various types of torts. You have trespass, nuisance, negligence, defamation, malicious prosecution, and false imprisonment. So understanding these particular types of civil wrong in details is again very, very important. Okay, a lot of questions do come from here again. Then moving on to law of contracts. Now in law of contracts, one must be aware of what is an offer, what is an acceptance, what is consideration. Now consideration, object, both have to be legal, right? So you must understand the difference between what is lawful consideration and what is unlawful consideration. Then thereafter, you must be aware of free consent, what is void contracts, and what is voidable contracts. Now voidable contracts means contracts which are influenced under coercion, undue influence, fraud, misrepresentation, or mistake. Now one has to be absolutely clear, because a lot of questions, if you see, go to the previous year's question paper, do come from lawful object and lawful consideration. So your idea about what is lawful object and what is lawful consideration has to be clear. Then you have privity to contract and special contracts like quasi-contract, guarantee, bailment, and others. So this is by far the major chunk of law of contracts, the topics that you must have a fair idea about. Moving on to law of crimes. In law of crimes, one must be aware of what is mens rea and what is actus rea, guilty mind and guilty action. Then you should know the difference between intention, motive, and knowledge, right? What is your intention for doing a crime? What is the motive behind doing the crime? And did you have the knowledge that by your action you can commit a particular crime, right? So intention, motive, and knowledge, very, very important. Then you have the general exceptions under the Indian Penal Code. They are insanity, involuntary intoxication, age, right? A child below the age of 7 cannot commit an offense. So there are various types of general exceptions also given under the Indian Penal Code, which one have to have a candidate who is preparing for this entrance examination must have a fair idea about. Apart from that, you must have idea about the various types of crime: abatement, criminal conspiracy, culpable homicide, murder, dowry death, kidnapping, abduction, theft, extortion, and offenses relating to marriages. So this is the entire thing that you must know insofar as law of crimes is concerned. So I'm sure that you got an idea of the most important topics, that is do or die topics for your Maharashtra CET examination 2023. Before we end, BYJU'S Exam Prep brings to you a comprehensive course for CLAT 2024. Secure a seat at your dream NLU. We will provide you with 300 plus recorded videos across 5 sections, 300 plus hours of live classes, 35 mock tests for CLAT and other law exam, along with video solutions, monthly e-magazine on current affairs, and the entire content is based on the extensive analysis of the last years of CLAT question paper. So guys, do like our session, do share this session with your friends who all are also preparing for Maharashtra CET 2023. Do subscribe to our YouTube channel, do follow us on our Instagram, do like our Facebook page, do join our Telegram channel, and do not forget to download the BYJU'S Exam Prep app. Thank you very much. God bless you. See you again. Bye bye. Take care.